Previously, we've learned about basic inferencing, that you can combine axis directions and inference points and hover over points of your model to ask Sketchup for an inference to that point. The idea of inference locking is still to move in a direction, but then to lock that direction. Now that I've locked the line tool in only the red direction, I can easily infer directly to any other point or edge in the model. This technique is one of the most powerful abilities you can master in Sketchup. Open the exercise file on inference locking and follow along. There are two ways to lock an inference in Sketchup. One is with the arrow keys on your keyboard, and the other is with the Shift key. It's useful to know both, but we'll start with the arrow keys, right, left, up, and down. Right is red. Start drawing a line and press the right arrow key to lock the red axis. Green is left. Tap the left arrow key to lock the green direction. Blue is the up arrow key. Tapping another key will lock that direction, so I can quickly jump between locking the red, green, and blue axes. Or to release the lock, tap the key that is locked. I'm currently locked in the green axis, so I'll tap the left arrow key to release the lock. I'm purposefully skipping the down arrow key for now. We'll come back to that down arrow key in a moment. Let's practice the basic axis directions first. In our first example, start drawing an edge and tap an arrow key to invoke the lock. For me, I'll lock the red direction with the right arrow key. And then to finish, you'll actually click your mouse on the point you are inferring to. Practice a few times in just the red direction. Start an edge, lock it by tapping the right arrow key, and finish by clicking a second time on your inference point. Remember to hit escape to stop drawing a further edge. Draw several edges until you are comfortable with basic locking, and then try locking in both the red and green directions as you draw. In the next scene, we'll give you some challenges to work on. This puzzle uses only the red and green directions. The objective is to follow the path provided, staying perfectly in the center. And we've provided these points for you to inference to. Start here, lock the red direction, then infer and click on the first point. Now lock the green direction with the left arrow key and infer to the second point. Continue this process of locking the red and green directions until you've completed the entire path. The next puzzle is more complex and also involves the blue direction. Instead of having reference points, you should be able to infer to midpoints. As you draw edges, you'll also see that you don't always need to lock a direction, such as this vertical edge, which I can simply draw to the next midpoint. Take your time, figure out each next inference, and you'll probably need to orbit or zoom in and out as you progress, but practice until you can complete the entire path. Now let's return to the down arrow and move to the next scene. Tapping the down arrow will lock to an existing edge, So to use it, you need to start drawing a line first. Then, hover over another edge and tap the down arrow key. Both our line and the reference edge are highlighted magenta, and we are locked in a parallel direction. Tap the down arrow key again to lock to a perpendicular direction, and tap the key a third time to release the lock. Practice by finding the parallel and perpendicular lock to each of these bars. Remember that you'll need to release the previous lock, then hover over a new edge and tap the down arrow key. Once you feel comfortable finding and locking existing edges, try this. I'm going to draw a line from this same corner, then hover over the same edge I'm drawing from and tap down to lock it. Watch how the inference lock works as I reference points versus other edges. The reference to points is going to be a perpendicular reference, but if I hover over an edge, the reference is where those two edges intersect. Hover around on points and edges to see how they interact with our locked direction. Keep in mind that this example is taking place in the same plane. All these edges are coplanar, so we can find intersections between them. If I moved this triangle surface upward so it was in a different plane, there is no intersection between non-coplanar edges. But don't worry, in most cases, you will actually be inferring to a surface. For example, if I pull one of these bars up, we can then easily find an inference to that vertical surface. Using the arrow keys for inferencing can be a really handy shortcut, but the more versatile method is to use the Shift key. Really, you should be comfortable using both. To lock with the Shift key, you need to find a direction first. Let's return to the first scene and erase out any edges you've drawn before. So I'll start drawing an edge in the red direction. Then hold the Shift key down, and as long as I'm holding Shift down, I will stay locked, which is also indicated by the highlighted edge. As before, to finish my edge, I'll click on another point in the model, and now that I've completed this edge, I can let go of the Shift key to release the lock. To practice again, I'll find the green direction. Remember, find the direction first. Then hold the Shift key down to lock it. Reference and click on other geometry to finish the edge and let go of the Shift key. If you feel confident in using Shift for inference locking, try to complete the paths again, this time using only the Shift key to lock. Remember, you can double-click on your previously drawn edges to select them all, and then press Delete on your keyboard. Work through both of these exercises again. If you are still struggling with using the Shift key to lock, don't worry, and just walk through the locking sequence several times. Find a direction, hold Shift to lock that direction, complete your edge, release the Shift key. For more practice, create a few simple boxes like we did with basic inferencing. But now that you know how to lock edges, see if you can get faster in drawing with just the line tool. We've focused on using the line tool to learn about inference locking. However, you can also lock to surfaces and lock the move tool as well. In the next lesson, we'll create a roof structure that will let us practice some of these additional techniques.